So the UFC recently announced some main events: Garcia versus Onama a couple of days ago, and Bonfin versus Brown like last night. And what is happening? These are not main event worthy fights. Like, don't get me wrong, Garcia versus Onama, Bonfin versus Brown are amazing fights by themselves. They're actually pretty good matchmaking fights, but they're not main event worthy at all. Like, you can easily put these fights like in co-main or like the very first fights of a pay-per-view main event. But these are not main event worthy at all. I don't get where they get from these fight like matchmakings where like saying, oh yeah, this is worthy for a main event. I don't get it. I don't see what is amazing from like these are gonna take the spotlight for a main event. Garcia versus Onama. Don't get me wrong, it's a good fight. Garcia's on a KO winning streak. He just reached the rankings. Onama, he's on a decent run, and he also just reached the rankings, and they're gonna fight each other. So it is a pretty good fight. But they don't have the name. They just reached the ranking. So what does that have? Like, where's the correlation from that to a main event worthy spot? I don't understand what's happening. If you wanted to give them a main event, you could have done like Garcia versus Pitbull or Onama versus Dan Ige. Something like that. That can carry for a main event. But these two fighting each other is not main event worthy. I'm gonna be honest. Like, we're still gonna watch. Don't get me wrong. We're still gonna watch. And that's what I hate. We're still gonna watch this, and this is a horrible matchmaking for a main event. And Bonfin versus Brown, this was originally for the Rio de Janeiro fight, and this got moved to a main event. The reasoning still hasn't been announced as to why we're getting this for a main event and why it got removed or something. But yeah, Bonfin, he just reached the rankings, and he robbed Wonderboy. Like, I think it's the majority senses that we can all agree saying, yeah, he robbed Wonderboy in that fight, and he doesn't deserve to be a ranked fighter. And Brown, he's actually underrated. He's actually pretty good. The last time he fought like a ranked fighter was Vicente Luque in 2020, and then he lost to Vicente Luque pretty badly actually. And then after that, he was on a winning streak, lost to the current champ JDM, went on another winning streak, lost, and got robbed by Bryan Battle. In my opinion, he got robbed by Bryan Battle. It was a close fight, but in my opinion, Randy Brown beat Bryan Battle. But yeah, he should have been undefeated after losing to JDM. And then he got on another winning streak, and now is fighting Bonfin. So Randy Brown is pretty underrated. He is pretty good. He is a ranked fighter in my opinion. He does deserve to be a ranked in the future. And I'm gonna pick Brown for this fight, but this is not a main event worthy fight. There's so many other fighters right now that you can pick from your huge roster that aren't booked or aren't fighting right now. Like, come on. I don't get it. Like, why even rush this? Why even rush a main event announcement? Like, you can announce a main event in the future and like save these guys for co-main or something. But in my opinion, what I imagine what's gonna happen is the UFC is gonna be like, yeah, we're gonna have these guys as placeholders for main event, and then later on we're gonna add the actual main event, which is kind of weird because you do not want to give these guys saying, oh, you're gonna be main event, and then we're gonna demote you to co-main. You're gonna feel kind of bad, thinking you're gonna be main event for a fight, and then it turns out you're not. But that's what I hope happens. But if these guys do stay as main event, then I don't know. It's just a lose-lose situation in my opinion. It's kind of weird and dumb. But yeah, now something that we can look forward to is UFC Fight Night in Qatar. We're gonna have Jack Hermansson versus Orolbai at welterweight. So it's gonna be a lightweight versus a middleweight. I don't think have we ever seen something like this? I don't know. Maybe we have, like in the early, like mid 2000s, there was probably a matchmaking like that. Oh no, never mind. No, but I don't know. I was gonna say Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz, but Conor McGregor went up to weight classes. But I don't remember the last time we've seen something like this. It's actually pretty interesting. I can't wait for that. Actually, it's pretty cool to see a lightweight versus a middleweight, and see all the interactions between them. Like saying, oh, size does matter, or maybe skill does be size if it's only 2 weight classes apart and they fight in the same weight classes. It's gonna be interesting to see. So I can't wait for this fight. Hopefully none of Hermansson or Orolbai pull out and they actually make weight for 170. So I really hope this fight goes through, because I can't wait for this. This is actually pretty cool. So yeah, that's it. That's all I have to say. It wasn't really anything else. It's just trash main events that don't make any sense, and this fight. Tomorrow I'm going to come out with my predictions for UFC 320, which is Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev 2, the rematch. And yeah, can't wait for that card. amazing card. Hopefully, your UFC fixes those main events. But yeah, hope you guys have a good day and goodbye.